traps. The Angela is still open, but I do have to say I kind of am not a big fan of Angela first picking because you're kind of put yourself in a corner where you're not going to have enough damage in the early and mid stages of the game. Kind of feel like Roger's still a pretty solid pickup here because it's good against the Harif and overall just pretty much flexible. I feel like it's one of those heroes where I don't know when it started, but Roger has just become a monster.
Yeah.
What about Susin? Susin has also been left opened up.
Jusin and Zask. They
There
have
you
to
go.
be a very specific pick, and more often than not, they come through in the second phase when they're not banned.
Yeah.
So now you see here the Roger. Yeah, you're right, Angela is open. But you got to consider, oh, never mind. An early Jushin. You know what? This is dangerous. As much as I love seeing the hero
I agree.
in play, it's too early.
Yeah, you can still pick up Disaster. You can even possibly pick up a Kagura to make sure that you're able to deal with this. And with the Edith there is an answer towards the Roger. Roger wants to come in with the light compounds. You're going to get CC'd so much, you're going to die anyway. So I feel like you got to pick up a Zas here. If not, it is going to get banned out. We were talking about the Angela. Angela gets picked up here. Is it possible that this is an Angela mid and then they're just thinking the Zushin isn't going to be a problem?
I actually like Angela mid more these days.
Yeah.
4 out of 5 Angelas in pro play, I think, should be in mid.
There's definitely room for Vitality to wriggle, right? I mean, we've seen them flex different heroes into several different roles, just really breaking barriers, but their choice now is the Ruby. So still flex, right? Ruby can still be in the EXP lane, considering, but it can also be in that roam position, and they flex the Angela to mid lane.
This is solid because, again, one of the keys to playing in mid Angela is a solid XP laner. You want a big, tanky XP laner, and then the same, a setter roam. So that's still out there. You can still put a Tigreal in Vitality and call it a day. Now, Omega Empress. What do they want to pick up? Do they want to put a hero on a Shinoa immediately? Or, I think that's a staple. Like, they just save her for the last.
Yeah, honestly, for this point, I do agree. I kind of feel like picking up a marksman here before he gets banned out is going to be pretty key. The only thing is, what is the priority? Do they want the Claw? Do they want the carry? They could wait a little bit later because I feel like in terms of the jungler, I was thinking of the Nolan, but I'm not going to lie, I kind of feel like this Nolan is a little bit early.
That's
Considering
2 picks already too early.
Yeah, considering that you see the Angela, it kind of blocks out the possibility of something like a Hayabusa. Honestly, even going for the fighters can be very risky. So that's why in my head I was thinking of the Nolan, but also I kind of feel like it might be a little bit too early. There is possibility of using something like the Bane inside the jungle.
So we're now entering the second phase, and the Tigreal has been opened up. You mentioned that Nolan could be too much of an early pick. There are ways to counter this Nolan. Let's talk about that.
One is a Phoveus in mid. That's one funny way to counter. I don't know if that's something that Vitality is willing to go for.
I think it's difficult going up against the Zushin.
Yeah, no, just don't do that.
Yeah.
It was one of the answers back then when Nulan first came out, when Roland was a menace. Now it's more of a specific answer. But I think what Omega wants to do is just burst down any possible Angela targets. And here, they ban out the X-Borg, so they understand that maybe this Ruby is indeed going to be a tank. It's going to be the roamer. Maybe they start attacking gold laners now.
In theory, I kind of feel like they're going to have a lineup that wants to push forward, and X-Borg is a very good hero to kite away and then make the opponents create a mistake, right? So I kind of feel like the X-Borg is really setting up for this Edith to go to the EXP lane, where they have a different idea that they want to put in the EXP. The Tigger ban is good. I kind of feel like it's good for both teams. No Tigger in this matchup. I'm not complaining.
What will Vitality utilize, right? What's the plan? Because so far, Vitality's found so much success using this Tigreal for Vivian, right? The mother of tanks. 80% win rate up until this point. But the Yuzong gets taken off the board as well. What are they hinting here? Is this them trying to put Edith in the EXP lane, securing a better lane for her, or is something, what direction are we going?
They're attacking Fumieko, that's for sure. Again, a lot of the early to mid-game power spikes from Vitality in a lot of their matches in MWI come from Fumieko. She always does something that buys time for the rest of her team off map, like, let's say, all the way across, that changes how the game goes for their opponents. So even if she dies, even if she plays very specifically, like with an Arla, with Rizla, she's done it multiple times. Look at that, 4 bans for Fumieko alone. I think they're trying to make it awkward for her.
Honestly, the thing that we got to talk about is the 2 bans here. X-Borg as well as Yuzong is very good at diving. And I kind of feel like that's what Smart Omega Empress wants to stop. Because this Jusin is very good at pulling people away, especially the frontliners, right? Trying to separate the EXP, trying to separate the the roamer. So I feel like this is their way of understanding if Vitality goes for a full-on dive, maybe the Jushin will have a more difficult time. So again, that's my perspective.
Jushin to me feels like when Eve was in her prime.
Yeah, she counters the front line so hard. So someone has to dive. So Lolita picked up here. Maybe they're considering this Roger is going to the jungle then.
It looks like an Ixia setup too.
Yeah, it does. It does look like an Ixia setup. Betting out the Yuzong, yeah.
Could it be? She found a Savage last time around when she picked it up.
Do they deny it? What is Coach Susugaja and Dewa thinking? Because they could.
Honestly, they could. The only problem is the Nolan, but I kind of feel like having the Angela, you can't fight back. So now, other than that, like this makes it so Natan is a little bit tricky. Honestly, even the carry is a bit tricky. Claude tricky as well, but I think the Claude is more usable here for sure.
Okay, so Claude for Shell. And what are we thinking for the roam?
I almost
Are
want
we
this
are we
Roger.
anticipating like another mid lane
Boxia.
pick?
Okay, so there's
Okay.
your gold.
Baxia and CC.
A hero that can dive to the backline. However, let me remind you guys, this has happened before where the CC was used to potentially counter the Jushin. Didn't work out.
And as Renmar says, you need an Angela with the CC. You can't just CC these days anymore.
Yeah.
So at least they have that box checked off.
And Roger doesn't need that much farm, so you can give space to the CC to actually farm up.
But I
Okay.
think they're lacking burst. If the fight lasts too long, or if Omega Empress just back out and don't engage, Vitality's gonna keep chasing and chasing and not getting much. And there it is, Melissa. Okay.
Honestly, I'm liking the lineup from both of those. I feel like for Vitality, the one important thing is to highlight what Leo said. There's not enough burst. So, priority targeting is going to be important. If they're targeting different people, this draft will not work. If from minute one, they only target one and make sure that target actually dies, kind of liking Vitality's lineup.
Okay, so there's certain winning conditions that need to be met right now. As we enter, ladies and gentlemen, for the first game of the grand finals at MWI x EWC. We're gonna throw it over to the casters without further ado.
Thank you so much, experts. Thank you for breaking it down there. Welcome to the desk here. What is up, guys? I'm Nice. I'm joined with Mirko to bring you this grand final. It's over 20 tournaments undefeated. Will this be another notch on the list for Team Vitality, or will the Empresses make history? Once again, welcome to the Land of Dawn. We're ready to kick off game number 1 in this best of 5. Mirko, how are we feeling about the lineups here? I know, the desk is PHID also, but how are we feeling?
I think we're the same, right? I mean, PHID here on the desk as well, on the caster desk. But I mean, looking at the lineup, I'm not too sure. Team Vitality definitely taking a risk here by going for the CC pick. Usually, we see Fumieko on picks like, it's always playmakers. The Terizla, the
Yuzong.
the Yuzong, and last MWI is actually the Lapu Lapu. So, very interesting to see already a carry pick in the XP instead of the usual comfort pick that we see. Cine as well on the Ruby, right? Usually we expect the mid lane to be the one taken with Angela, now brought back. This might be the second time, third time in a row, but Cine will be able to dash away. But back to my point, it's gonna be a bit tough this time. With the Ruby in the mid, it's kind of different, Usually we see Angela.
Yeah. That's what I'm wondering. We've seen now up to this point 4 days where these ladies have had to figure out the Jushin pick. And is this the answer? Is this part of it? Bring in Ruby, bring in this Angela combination for both of them, because even if you're dragged back and forth like we've seen so many times, at least you get some sustain. At least you're able to heal back up relatively quickly. I mean, even with both those heroes locked in, and that might be enough to just kind of leave it to more so a dead lane, unless they can find a pick-off here.
Vival already moving forward. The shield unity now helped out by Vivian, forcing Amarai to actually dash away. So, Smart Omega Empress losing out on the mid-prio just from that rotation from Vival. Starts up Turtle.
Okay. Turtle's going to be up here. Still needing those level 4s, of course, here across the board. But the same thing, you're going to see, okay, Vivian actually has to burn the flicker for part of that, which she should be fine with. I mean, she doesn't necessarily need it right now. She might just try to get that level 4 too if they can. But the Turtle for the taking, it's at half health. There's the positioning. Murray gonna force Vivil back, and wow, Cindy's low too.
Primal Wrath used up already. Now Mirai pops into Bulwark. Ayanami doing some damage now. The beacon comes down as that's gonna be the flare. Bringing him back. I'm offended. Able to connect onto the back as well, but Cindy will be able to escape. First blood there with the Poissons. Fumi Echo still chasing them down. It's a kill. Traded over for the turtle. Fumi Echo still playing away with those yo-yos, but it will end just like that. Up top, though, we can see that it's a big win for Shinoa.
Yeah, good trade though. I would say either side, you know, but Smart Omega Empress pulls out a little bit further ahead. And like you said, a lot of that also, that gold plating there on the top side for Shinoa is secured. But first blood in the hands of Team Vitality. It went to, of course, Vivil, which is going to help her rotate a little more confidently on this Baksha pick. That's one of the reasons why you still pick it. I know we're in the assassin meta for the most part, but a pick like Baksha with an Angela is actually quite deadly because you can just appear anywhere around the map very quickly. We're going to take a look at the items here real quick, falling into place. No first items locked in just yet. You got the Molten Essence to help farm a little bit faster because, you know, you got to keep up with a Nolan. So you're going to have to work around that, but also it'll be interesting to see how they play it apart. And dealing, whoa, okay, they're going to use the I'm Offended. I don't think there's any follow-up there. And so with that, again, Team Vitality still kind of just keeping things even, you know, for the most part for Smart Omega Empress. They want to be able to go full force against the next objective here. We're still 40 seconds away from it, but let's talk about this matchup up here. The Melissa, man, it hasn't popped up too much. We've seen it a couple times. Is this a good matchup against the Roger up in the gold lane?
I mean, to be fair, Melissa really bullies almost everyone. I think the only matchup, hold up, Earthshatter onto two. Fumieko still able to purify out, but the Luminon Blast catches both of them. Fumieko escapes City. Not fortunate enough to actually get out of there. And yeah, no, Melissa dominates through lane, usually only getting countered by heroes with Blink. So Claude, Moskov could be the case as well, as long as you can get out of the muddles.
Are you a Melissa main now? I know for a while you were like 1-1.
1-1 when I first started, and then Melissa ever since that skin, this skin.
Okay.
For no reason.
Ever since that one. Well, with that, Turtle's up. They're going to go ahead and start it up. Hard guard going to be used, though.
Yeah, onto Fumieko with the curtain calm placed down as well. Now, meanwhile, Viva on the bottom lane just 2v1ing. Fumieko dashing forward, good mobility, City. Flickers forward, gets a donut, Wolfgang Viva on a chase down, but Keishi is just so mobile. In the end, they baited out so many big abilities, and Smart Omega Empress still get the objective.
Very disciplined. You know, that's what we're seeing here from these decisions. They don't have to fight. They get the objective, they get out, and that seems to be the move right now for Smart Omega Empress as they want to go ahead and match up, you know, pretty much across the board with objectives. And dealing with that for Team Vitality, you know, they're falling a little bit behind now. We're talking, you know, 1,000 gold, nothing too crazy. So it's up to them if they really want to kind of even out what's happened in these past couple minutes with the objectives. It's to get a pick off and a kill. Now, the one thing that's hard is Edith, man. Edith has been popping up time and time again, and there's a reason for it. She, like, the fact that you can onward Earthshatter or vice versa, and then pop a ton of damage once you pop the ultimate, the Primal Wrath, that's scary, that's tough to deal with. But then you round it up with the fact that you have a Lolita. You know, now we've seen Lolita in the past. Didn't work out too well. Hold on, Fumieko. Okay, she's got hard guard hovering over her too. But again, going back to it, Lolita pairs up really well with this. This could be the move that Team Vitality needs, though. They're just trying. It feels like they're kind of almost in a way like we need to find a kill to even things out.
Definitely. It does feel that way, you know, for Team Vitality, especially here. As even in the bottom lane, you can see that Fumieko, even on the CC, is actually having a tough time. Chell moves forward. That's the flare coming down. Chell able to dodge away with the light compounds and then the flicker out as well. Airborne brought back. Blast under the turret. Not too sure if they want to commit onto this. They'll go for the turret instead. Mirai moving forward with the stun. Not enough damage. Shinoa, no mana. Chell brought back again. The healing's still there. Vivian be caught, forced to flicker out. Now both flickers, Chell and Vivian, depleted.
And with that, this is just going to help build that lead up. Still looking for a play possibly here, but it's not Ayanami, and she's so tanky. She just pops the Primal Wrath. She's going to be fine. And oh, mid lane.
Sene able to survive. The knockout brings her back. Keishi doesn't have enough energy to go for it. Meanwhile, bottom lane, what happened? Ayanami, or rather not Ayanami, very specific there, will be able to outplay the 2v1 situation under the turret, getting Vivo. Now Keishi has a lot of space to go for the neutral objective for free. Fumieko cannot contest.
That's 3 for 3 now. Turtles, the objectives here for Smart Omega Empress. talk about a lot of this macro play that they're making. The decisions are on point so far. It looks like the warm-up that they had earlier on, going 3 for 3, is what they did here, of course, for game number 1. This is a struggle that they've had, you know, dealing with the game 1s, but now they seem to be off to a good start. Looking at the items real quick, too. Some of those first items already locked in. Clock of Destiny there for Amore. Hunter's Strike now available to Keshi. She's working on the next, and even the Thunderbelt, and even that little extra boost of damage helps him out. Meanwhile, Shinoa, she has the Corrosive Ice, and she's working on the rest of the items too. So, you know, at this point, Smart Omega Empress is actually at a pretty good power spike for the mid game. This is all preparing for that first Lord coming up here, and a little over. They've been undefeated like this for a reason. Looks like we are jumping back in. And just as a note, I believe the fact is out of all the MWIs, they've only dropped, I think it is 3 games. That's it. Back in, at least for MWI 2024, they've only dropped 2. Back in 2023, they dropped not a single game, so 0. And 2022, they dropped 1. So a total of 3 games all has Team Vitality lost. And I feel like Smart Omega Empress, they prepared for this. We heard it in the interviews. They wanted to get to this point. Everybody had Team Vitality on their list. Of course, you want to take down the Queens of MLBB. And game 1 already off to a good start for Smart Omega Empress. You can see once again as we get ready for this Lord in about 30 seconds, everything's falling into place for them. It's just managing these waves at this point, picking up the last maybe 2 or 3 items that they need, and then approaching it from there. So for Team Vitality, again, I think they just need to go ahead and get space to work with. They don't have any turrets down, you know, so it's at least start there.
And I think, honestly, when we're talking about the composition, Smart Omega Empress, they're doing good. Nah, they're doing amazing at this point, right? Keishi's 2 levels ahead of Vivol. And on the Baxia, I think we know. If you don't, you know, if you're not able to build up a snowball in the early game, it's going to be tough. Down below, Primal Wrath already.
Good damage.
Definitely stings from the Echo. Forced back instantly. That's a free turret to not Ayanami Mirai. Opening up the mat, Cine, walking forward, challenge. Well, Lycan Pounce, stunned up, gonna be caught. Forced to flicker out. Now blasting the flicker, continuing over, now forcing the hard guard out. Vivol able to find a shield unit. KG gonna be caught as well. Shinoa pops into muddles. Cine in the midst of it all once again, able to flicker out. Good go away to prevent any sort of full engagement and commitment. Vivol brought back to the team once again, isolated again. Vivol still able to tank up a whole lot as Swumi Echo does it a bit more damage. Keishi assassinating Vivol, who's caught all alone. Now it's another win for Smart Omega Empress as they group up in the mid lane, not Ayanami. Walking forward, Fumieko taking a whole lot of damage from Amore just with the Lantern Flare. Cine moving forward, not able to find I'm Offended. Amore just zoning them away. Cine brought back again. Good Earth Shatter, now Blast connecting on both. Now Shinoa walking forward, has the muddles, places it down. Cine can be caught, and again, it's not Ayanami on the Primal Wrath. Still going for it. Shinoa looking for a target to go for the muddles again, but finally Smart Omega Empress say, we've had enough.
Talk about an extended team fight into an objective, into a team fight. I mean, wow. Talk about Smart Omega Empress as we look at the STC replay here. This was even after a team fight towards that mid-upper river. And then they hold down this front side. They hold down the mid. Meanwhile, not Ayanami is just firing off here. And they secure the Lord too. You know, so this is just a big power play from the Empresses here because, man, how do you deal with this? Team Vitality, they were trying to get the space that they needed, but even with the healing that they have with the Angela pick, with the shielding, she's even got Flask of the Oasis, they could not withstand the damage that Smart Omega Empress had. And they're going to lose all these tier 2 turrets on top of this whole exchange. Big item pickups as well. Oracle for Murray, a little more defense there. Endless battle. And now they have to defend the base here. Lord's going to go ahead and work on these shields. Are they going to press the situation a little bit further?
Oh, onward coming down. Now Blast charged up as well. No flicker to stop Cine though. Caught in the midst of it all. Again, good beacon. Vivol caught, isolated, and taken down. Another bring back as the Purify gets used up. But Fumieko is going to go for another flare. They're able to zone her away. 11 minutes in. Smart Omega Empress will end the game. One of the fastest losses ever that we've seen from Vitality, and it comes through the way of Smart Omega Empress.
Add 1 game to those defeats for the Queens of MLBB. Team of Vitality takes a loss here, a quick one from Smart Omega Empress. Again, talk about